In the car world, let's ask Brian Bishop from the car store.
Good morning, Brian Bishop. What is new in the car world, sir?
I don't know. I really just don't know.
Later,
However, good Ted's right. I did want to share. I was thinking about this morning. The age-old expression about women drivers. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
I do, because I'm married to a beautiful woman, and we've had this discussion about who are better drivers, men or women. It's the age-old discussion that we can no longer have because it's 2021. But I thought, you know what? Since you're going nostalgic this morning, we talk about an interesting study that was done a few years ago that examined that exact question. Researchers took 20 years of accident data and examined the cases where there were two people involved and determining did gender have a factor. And it was fascinating what they found. Are you ready for what they found?
I am not going to say a word.
You're not going to say a word?
Could I get myself in trouble here? Go ahead.
Well, okay. Well, they expected, since men at that particular time drove 60% of the time and women 40% of the time, that you would see more accidents involving men per se. But what they actually found was, in like 5 of the 6 scenarios, women were overrepresented in the crash scenarios. But even more interesting, it was who was involved. It was more like whenever 2 women were involved, that's when the percentages jumped up. For instance, if a woman sideswipes another female driver, they expected it to be about 15.8% based upon the data and the representation. It was 52%. Males, they expected it to be 36%, but it was 22%. Similarly, if a female crossed the path of an approaching vehicle driven by another woman, it was 50% above the expected level of 17%. They could not figure out why this was happening. Basically, women are running into other women. That's what they're doing. And I'm thinking, why is that? They have no answer for this. I actually found this on ABC News, by the way. However, to answer that age-old question that many bigoted, chauvinistic people have been saying for many, many years, John Hopkins did a study that in fact showed that there really is very little difference between men and women when it comes to crashes. 5.1 crashes per million miles driven for men and 5.7 crashes for women. So there's virtually statistically no difference. So in answer to your question, men are not better drivers and women are not worse drivers.
I didn't ask the question. Don't say my
Well, I raised the question.
Answer your question.
Why are they better drivers?
Yes. What I was going to tell you is that what actually matters is age. That's the most important thing when it comes to safety and accidents in automobiles. You will find that teenage...
God, I'm glad you didn't say race.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people out there getting upset about this. Okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't be it. Teenage boys are the worst when they start off. But once you get above the age of 35, then it really doesn't matter what gender you are. When you start getting older, that's when you're more susceptible to...
35 is
that's
not
what it said.
older.
It is when you're 22. But I just thought I'd share that data.
I have something that happened to me yesterday. If I could share this with somebody?
You can. I would love to have it happen.
I'm driving. Actually, I was on my way to the Shining Soul ribbon cutting when this happened. We were just talking about that. And there was a car in front of me that was all over the lane. And as I was on the side of this car, and I got up to it, and I could see this woman was texting away on her phone.
Yes.
I mean, it was holding the phone up, and she was texting. I was staring with. So I had managed to get myself in a turn lane as we were turning, and I was right next to her.
Yes.
And I motioned to her, "Can you roll your window down?" Yeah. Which, by the way, makes no sense whatsoever.
It doesn't now, does it?
To go, "Can you roll your window down?" I don't even know. I'm driving a car with a roll down window.
It looks better than going like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So anyway, she did, and I said, and I just looked very politely. I said, "Hey," I said, "I know you think you could text and drive, but I just want to let you know you are all over the road."
And what did she respond to that?
A disgusted look and put her window back up, like, "Go to hell."
Yeah.
That's what I was like. I'm just trying to help here, lady.
Yes. Well, it is.
You weren't rude about it.
I was not rude, and I was telling her, I know you think you could do this.
I know.
But you can't.
No,
it's
you
crazy
can't.
how many people I pull up next to them and look, and they're texting, and I'm
like,
like, good God, they're all over the place.
I remember, listen, we have a friend of ours, Ray Taranto, who was under the impression that he could do this. Ray, you can't do it. He almost killed all of us. I was like, I took his phone away. I said, I will never drive with you again. Yeah. And I don't want, there's another guy who thinks he can get away with that too, but I don't want to mention his name. I don't want to get Sip into trouble. But, did I say that? I'm sorry. No, you think you can. Everybody thinks they're impervious to accidents or to driving poorly or swerving out of your lane. You're not.
No.
Put the damn thing away.
It truly appears to be the same as drunk driving.
Yes.
Like
well,
you
actually,
watch it from behind.
they have done studies that actually show that you actually can be more impaired by the use of electronic devices than when you're at the legal limit in alcohol.
At 60 miles an hour.
Yes.
How many feet? I think Mickey and I just had this discussion.
Like how fast
I forgot how many feet you. Oh boy, he's listening, going, "Come on, you know the answer." You're going. It's like a lot of feet.
It is. It's a lot of feet. Yes.
It's like a football field.
Well,
Yeah, I think it's
5,000
like 30.
something per minute.
Yeah.
And then divide that by 60.
Well,
yeah.
When
it's not 3 seconds. It's like 8 seconds.
I think it's something. But I mean, when you think about that distance that you're
Yeah.
driving, when you're not paying attention, and really when you're reading a text message,
Yeah.
you're not reading it in a half a second.
You're not.
It's taking you a little bit of time, and then you get lost in your phone. Hey,
You know what's funny?
It's worse than being drunk, in my opinion.
Well,
Yes, it's up there. It's the same, let's say.
I was right.
What'd you
All
find?
right, at 60 miles per hour, it takes 3.4 seconds to cross an American football field.
Wow.
Is that running straight, or do you have to catch the ball first?
That's right. Get
It's
blocked.
serpentining.
Is that yak yards? That's yard after catch.
You know what's hilarious about all of this is that it's against the law to be using your phone while driving, number one. And the fines are pretty stiff in Delaware and Maryland. But secondly, almost every automobile out there that's made from like 2015 up has the ability to interface hands-free with your car. So there really is no sense and reason to ever be holding and using your phone while you're driving.
Exactly. Unless you're driving an old car, then it's fine, right?
Absolutely. That's right. You're grandfathered in. You're grandfathered in if it's pre-1978.
Officer, this car doesn't have Bluetooth. They didn't have Bluetooth in 1973. I'm sorry.
Well, amazingly, if you come to the car store and the truck store, you'll find a whole bunch of vehicles from all sorts of manufacturers that come with very convenient features that allow you to drive safely and keep your hands off your phone. Along with your passengers. And so, yeah, if you want something that's going to keep you safe, come see us at thecarstoreonline.com, mytruckstoreonline.com, and thetruckstore.com. As you know, today is the 29th. Tomorrow is the 30th. You got a couple of days to play head games with our salespeople and get the best deal possible in this crazy world that we live in.
Sounds good. Sounds like a deal to me.
Yes.
The car store, the truck store, and we'll see our buddy Brian Bishop over there. He misses everybody.
He does.
Brian Bishop from the Car Store. Online at thecarstoreonline.com.